I did an exhibit last spring on African Americans here in Anderson and in the United States during the 1800s. And if you kind of read up a little bit on the 1800s also, you will discover that most of the things that were invented or manufactured or produced to a great point for mankind were done during the 1800s. And by the 1900s, everything was here for us. It was already here. So all we had to do was partake of it and go on. But very interesting period in time. And African Americans were very educated, very constructed, lived in beautiful homes, wore beautiful clothes. They weren't just slaves. They were still slaves, but many of them were very prosperous people. And at first when I started doing the research, I couldn't find a lot of things, but now it's out there. You just type it in and you don't know where to begin. There's so much of it. It's still the best country in the world. It's still the best country in the world. It really is. We have freedoms here that we don't appreciate today. We're taking a lot for granted, and that's not a good thing. And the burden of this country is going to be on you guys' shoulders to make sure that things get better, they get right, they get real. And I don't know if I want to be in your shoes or not, because it's going to be a big burden. But most of all, if you learn to be a real person and you learn to accept diversity in the world and you learn to appreciate whatever you get, education, money, whatever, then I think that's it. That's what's going to help turn things around and make things better for you guys.
So how do you think in East Central Indiana the 1964 Civil Rights Act affected your community?
It helped a great deal. It helped because when it took place, the Civil Rights Bill in 1964, it set a standard, a precedence for what was right. And it said, these people deserve the right to make a good living, have a nice home, drive a nice car, and of course, if they have money, they're going to spend money. A lot of people migration. My great-grandfather migrated here from the South. There was a migration of people here, African Americans here from the South in the 50s that you would not believe. They talk about the immigrants coming to the United States. There was a migration of African Americans during that time that came here from all over the South. And they had a lot of small factories here in Anderson, the south end of town, including General Motors. But the smaller ones hired them more so than General Motors did. And they migrated here. My grandfather had housing where they could stay there for a while, and then the men would get jobs, and then they would move on the west side of Anderson. We were supposed to have been segregated in one section of town. At that time, most blacks did prior to '64. But after '64, they started spreading out all over Anderson, going in different areas and buying homes and living. But the migration here was, I want to go where I can get a better job. And they left racism. I'd like to see things really change for the younger people. And the United States kind of get back to positive thinking, working together, because that's what it took to build this country. Appreciating diversity, appreciating education, morals. We need to go back to better morals. It doesn't hurt. You guys are probably all wind up in very high profile professional positions. I'm giving that to you. And so it won't hurt to learn to have some classic characteristics. The bigger the world, the more high profile, the more involved it will become. You will be dealing with people who don't care about anybody but themselves and making money and seeking power. But if you show yourself to always be a classy person, you'll be better off in the long run. They'll remember you.